General Protocol Spaces, banking on freedom.
So welcome to General Bull 45 of N. We're going to be talking about conferences, which is coming up, conferencing in the context of the everything melting down. And so I'm not an expert on economy, and maybe none of us are, but we're gonna have a shot at discussing how BCH is doing and how we're all making progress and still moving in the middle of all this this meltdown. So I wanted to introduce the people here. Imaginary username, our stalwart QR code
Hey,
for coming, and I'm depending on you to talk about meltdowns because I'm no expert for sure. Jonathan, welcome, and we'll start out with Jonathan telling us about the conference and how things are going with the BCH Bliss conference. Cheapy, I think you're there. We had the mic check. He's an expert in all things in the world. So, for his opinion.
Please, not at all.
All right. And Jim, the guy who is behind half the things that are being built in BCH these days, well, are going to hear. Also living in another part of the world, so we're going to see how things are going for all of us. Welcome, Jim. All right, I got the hand wave. All right. So, Jonathan, you want to kick it off? Let us know what's going on with BCH Bliss in the conference.
I think he just reverted back to listener for some reason. At least that's what I see.
Gintu couldn't handle Twitter. Let's see. All right, we'll do that later then. What is the everything meltdown? What all has melted down? You name what have you seen in crypto and otherwise?
So yeah, remember if so in case any of you have not been Twitter for so long, because I have, um, I I've seen a lot of shit like floated on Twitter and Reddit and whatnot. You know, people talking about shit will hit the fan, and there will be a collapse of the old order. There will be I don't know. The old things would fall apart, and there will be no new things, and World War III and all of that. So most of those were basically just intrusive thoughts on what's the worst that could happen, and I would just say the most outrageous things to get views and clicks and likes on Twitter. Apparently all of that is coming true. So in front of us, I was like, oh, what's that? I was like, was that?
Everybody thought he was setting us up for a soft intro, and it was just like slap to the face, just right.
Yeah, like a few months ago, it was like all of those were like, nah, this is just like clickbait, or maybe, or at worst, maybe some of those would happen in our lifetimes. Right now, it's like, okay, will any of those happen in like next month or next week? Yeah, so that's a background, and this is especially relevant for us crypto people, because a lot of what we advocated for, sadly or happily, would only be relevant in a shit hits the fan scenario. And right now, shit is kind of hitting the fan, or if it hasn't, it may very well be like in the next couple months, or 6 months, or next week, depending on how optimistic you are. So yeah, this is especially relevant for crypto people. Are we ready? I honestly don't know, and I'm starting to have this kind of conversation with totally regular people who don't know what Binance is. So here we are. Yeah.
It was a funny, not funny. It's not funny at all, but something I've told my family for years. Like they asked me for some form of investment advice, and I'm like, I don't know. I'm not a trader. I don't know investment stuff. All I do know is that I have control of my money, right? Like I have BCH, and my money is in my control, and nobody's gonna just take it away from me. Nobody's gonna refuse me the use of it, etc. And they were always like, "Whatever, you're so weird." And then now, and they're like, "Well, I'll just use dollars or whatever, euros, whatever to keep just safe value." And I'm like, "Well, that's not always true." And they're like, "Yeah, but that's in like some rare, weird, special cases, special scenario where that becomes not normal, and that's not going to
Say,
happen
hel-
in our
say
lifetime." And I was
hello to
like,
the special case.
"Maybe." Yeah, exactly. And then now they're like, "Is this what you were talking about?" And I'm like, "Yeah, this is what I was talking about." And it's the same thing with uh, uh on the side, right? As long as we're talking about crypto, also with stable coins, where it's the same thing, right? People are like, "Oh yeah, well I'll just get stable coins for stability," and it's like, well, until you don't, and they're like, "Yeah, but that's just a special situation where everything's fine, and only in some really weird special situations does the stable coin collapse." And it's like, well, well, one day you meet that special situation, and here we are with some of those. What's your take on the market side of things, like the crypto side of things?
Yeah, so I had this conversation with a close friend of mine, um, where he asked me for advice on, okay, apparently he has a lot of money in like he's a really traditional stability first kind of guy, and most of his money is in freaking CDs. Uh, oh, not the audio storage media.
Certificates of deposit. I think in the UK they're called what? Fixed deposit? I can't remember what they're called in the UK. I suddenly can't hear anything. Is somebody else talking?
You went silent.
Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Thanks, Twitter. Okay, it's just you and me. Okay, it's your turn. You're the expert on everything, so tell us what's up.
This is fine.
Everything's fine.
Everything's fine.
It's only on fire. Don't worry.
Yeah, yeah. The chancellor bails out something, right? Now this is, it took 10 years what we got here. Once in a generation crisis has happened, I don't know, 4 or 5 times now, right? Uh, it's uh, it's the thing that a lot, I mean, especially crypto people are like, thought was going to happen, but hope never happened. So it's like, more and more, my motto is becoming like, it's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. And that's just keeps coming true over and over again. So yeah, the state of the world is
When you
yeah,
say have it and not need it, what do you mean by have it there? You're talking about like money in your control, or do you mean something else?
all of the things.
Oh,
So yeah, so um, you know, I don't know if Satoshi ever said specifically like I am making Bitcoin because I don't trust the US dollar, right? It was never like explicitly stated that like in my libertarian utopia we will have digital money. Like he never, as far as I know, never explicitly stated like this is in case shit hits the fan, right? But for any of us who have been around for a while, it's been like, well, the U.S. dollar can't last forever, right? The British pound didn't last forever. If you look at any culture throughout history, it's like they had their day in the sun, and then the sun set, and the next thing came along, and that's going to continue to be the way. And you have to be prepared for that, and that doesn't necessarily mean like you know. Start a chicken farm in the mountains. It just means that, just in case, it's good to have uh, some options, right? Uh, and I I think anyone in crypto, actually I take that back. I totally take that back. When I say anyone in crypto, I mean OGs, right? Anyone who came in like post 2017 is in for the DeFi summer and fat gains and all that stuff. So. Uh, it's a different world. Anyway, those of us that care about inflation have always thought that Bitcoin is the solution, or at least one of the solutions. One possible exit or one possible survival mechanism to nasty times. And I think everyone would prefer that things stay stable and happy, and we all have water and sunshine and smiles and laughter and whiskers on kittens and all of those things. But the world, of course, doesn't necessarily agree with that position, and seems to like throwing curveballs. And we are now in one of those unprecedented times where it's all curveballs all the time.
All
Yeah.
curveballs all the time. Yeah, it
Yes.
feels like it, and it's about to get worse. It feels like it's about to get worse. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it's funny. The advice I have for my family and people when they ask about investment is still the same. It's I don't know. I don't know what's gonna work and not gonna work. All I know is that I personally have access to my money. It's not gonna be taken away from me, and I have control of it. That's about all I can say. Except now I can also say, well, also I can use some of the tools like BCH Bull or Moria or whatever to get stability or to get exposure to other assets, which is nice, right? Now you can do DeFi on BCH as well. So you additionally have that as well. But yeah, still when it comes to, okay, well, what should I do? It's still like, I don't know. Don't ask me. Seek stability in gold, and then gold price falls off a cliff, or seek stability in dollar, or short the dollar, but then the dollar pumps because everybody's retreating to treasuries, and then now they're like dumping. They might dump treasuries like at the government level. Who knows? No clue how any of this is going to go. I have done my best to reinvite everybody because Twitter decided to kick everyone off. But it seems like nobody is able to rejoin. I'm not sure what's going on with this thing. Yeah,
I think
so
it's been like a
I
year,
think.
right? They
Go
Go
ahead.
ahead. No, you.
I was just going to say about the conference. I was really wanting to talk about the conference and have Jonathan speak about it, but uh, we're just going to have to wait until the stars align for that to happen. Jim, are you there? Is any of this are these curveballs, this craziness, is it affecting you and the people where you live, or is everything kind of
No,
going as normal?
yeah, no, it's pretty. I'd say it's pretty normal for now. Like, I think it'll kick eventually, but at the moment, it's kind of cruisy. I don't think most people here really know what's going on. Uh, so until like the prices in the supermarket start like skyrocketing, I don't know if anyone's really going to notice quite yet. So give it like a day, and yeah, then people might start, kind of panicking or whatever. But yeah,
Right.
no, right now it's still cruisy. Uh, yeah, but it's going to get interesting.
Mic check, mic check.
Welcome back.
You guys hear me? Hey, yeah, apparently Twitter itself is melting down. So that was nice.
Twitter tariff.
Oh my god. Uh, yeah. Because I got cut off just now, I was let me finish my story. So that so we had that conversation about buying gold, and then I never thought it would go that far, and we actually got to the part where okay, so but buying gold was a was traditionally a good idea, but governments are known to just confiscate physical gold in times of in times of chaos, right? It was like, yeah, and then the conversation actually briefly touched the fact that you can actually hedge gold on bchbull.com. So that was nice. But yeah, there's not a lot of certainty beyond that, and it actually takes a red premium now to hedge gold, hedge XAU on BCH Bull. But do check back from time to time; it might change. So yeah, there's that.
It's one of those uncomfortable things where people who are accustomed to the legacy finance system, where you're always promised money for saving, right? I'm going to save my money, therefore I'm going to earn something. It's like, well, that's not really a realistic long term assumption, right? The bank doesn't necessarily want your debt. So, yeah, the red premiums are not fun, but it's representative of, hey, you're looking for stability, and so is everybody else. So,
Yeah, and as of right now, that premium for 90 days, that couple percent premium, gives you the ability to carry it across borders, which just become just in the past couple months just became like a lot more perilous than what people used to know. It wasn't really pleasant before, but it just got like extra unpleasant. And yeah, it's in this new world. It's hopefully people are gonna learn it's a lot easier to carry 12 words than carry bars of gold or whatever, or little pieces of gold, because people are poor, than whatever other instruments you can carry.
did you just say little pieces of gold because people are poor?
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah. I mean,
I feel personally
I,
insulted by this.
I was like bars of gold. I was like, wait a second, nobody can afford that. I gotta say something more relatable, right?
I feel personally attacked by this statement. I can only afford small pieces of gold.
Little
It's
bits of
true.
gold.
Yeah. There's Jonathan. Oh no, I think he's trying to speak, but we can't hear him.
Oh gosh.
Oh man. Jonathan, just send me a script and I'll just read it. But when it comes to investments, I'm sure, I mean, you're a big brain, and I'm sure the people around you, although they're probably also big brains, but don't they occasionally ask you like, what should I invest in, and like, how the hell do you respond to that when people say something like that?
Ultimately, this conversations all end up in the exact same place, right? I would tell them that the best thing to invest in is friendship, which kind of holds true in all kinds of in all situations, especially when shit hits the fan. But yeah, to be more specific, it is friendship with people who live near you, because this is what's gonna matter in a shit hits the fan scenario. And then the next best thing, only applies to shit hits the fan scenario, is probably emergency supplies. And then the next thing, I would probably fluctuate between gold and sometimes shilling them BCH. I mean, do be responsible. They'll like tell them like, okay, BCH is not for everyone. It has to, well, BCH is for everyone, kind of. We hope that eventually, but you know, if they lose money from BCH making a big dive, they're gonna hate you. So better to tell them up front that okay, there's a good chance that it's gonna take a big dive, but here's why like almost all of my net worth is in it, except for some emergency funds. I used to have most of that emergency funds in USD. That is slowly changing. um,
Yeah. How about the whole so what about this angle? So it's a mantra that you hear all the time, you know, oh, stable coins are the future or something like that, which I think most of us here probably aren't really aligned with, right? That stable coins are the future. Maybe they're useful, okay. But the whole stablecoin industry has just been massively centralized onto US dollar, right? Because that's just a dead assumption that everybody has made. And what happens when that breaks, right? Like, what are people going to do?
Yeah.
Suddenly the stable coins aren't stable anymore, either because of inflation of the underlying asset. Well, it's not even underlying asset, the tethered asset, or seeking a different, or because the market dumps it, or because the market is seeking a different source of stability and purchasing power, or do you have any kind of insight on what's going to happen to the whole stablecoin idea?
So I actually remember. Oh, this is another conversation I had with some other guy that shall remain unnamed from
Everything went quiet for me. Does anybody hear me?
Yeah, I can still hear you, but I've lost your name.
Yeah, me too.
Eventually, it's not even comedy anymore. It's just ridiculous. We'll try to get him back on here. Are you guys okay? Yeah, here. Let me try to get him back in. Do you guys have that? Like people who happen to be using crypto in one way or another tend towards stable coins? Is that what you guys see also, or are people leaning on just local fiat works fine where you are, or leaning on US dollars, or how is it?
I don't really know that many people that use like crypto locally, but people that I do know that like invest in crypto will basically just jump onto whichever one's kind of a coin of the week type thing. I doubt most of them would really be working with stable coins. I think it's a little bit like above their understanding. So it would just be kind of like a friend said, invest in Ripple. So then they'll go and throw like, a few $1,000s in Ripple and just watch the price of Ripple. Yeah, so I don't know that many stablecoin people like in my local area.
So I know in Japan, right? Obviously, it's a large economy. I think it's very similar to the US, which is the other place I have experience with, where people just have this built-in assumption. The ones who didn't go through like a Great Depression or something, who grew up without having gone through that, just have this default assumption that everything's going to be okay with their local fiat, which is Japanese yen or US dollar, because that's all they've ever known. And it's really, really hard to imagine. I assume it's the same in Australia too. It's really hard to imagine just a situation where that suddenly ceases to be the case. But my family from Peru, they, of course, did experience that hyperinflation and so forth. So they know, and they know that feeling of, yeah, you can't ever 100% lean on one thing or another, because you never know what's going to happen in the future. But yeah, there's a huge number of people, US, Japan, and other places, where I think that assumption may be about to come to an end, where they suddenly have to face up to there isn't an easy answer all the time.
Hey, I'm back
And that things
again.
can go wrong and collapse. Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Oh gosh,
Yeah.
now I don't
Do you hear me now?
Yeah.
Hey.
Okay, so everyone's working now. That's all. I'll jump in and
Amazing.
say that the currency debasing and getting worthless over time, it's actually not particularly uncommon. When I grew up and was like 10 years old, uh, my family flew over to Turkey, where we paid in millions of lira for small things like a drink or whatever. And the only thought you have, when you get there and you're a normie, is, oh, everything's cheap, right? Everything's great. You can go vacation here. And it turns out that there's actually people who do this. Like they wait for some catastrophe or whatever, and then they go off and like buy plane tickets to those places, ideally to the same places where everything just happened, because all the tourists disappear, and so all the prices go down and everything becomes very, very cheap. But it's not that uncommon, right? Over a course of like one lifespan, say 100 years, there's multiple currencies that are breaking down. So why do people keep thinking like it won't happen to me?
Oh, well, because that's the reason, as I understand it, the US dollar value versus other currencies shot up, even as uncertainty was increasing about it, because people flee to what they think is safe, which maybe locally is a local fiat. But then once they get to worried about that, they escape to the global fiat, which is USD. And then you get to the, well, what about after that? And then that's where everything goes into chaos, right? So I think the answer is that even if there was a local answer, there was still a global answer, which was solid for a much longer time period. But then that is now coming into question as well.
Yeah, I mean, people used to talk about gold as being like this great store of value. But people only look at gold as a good store of value if they have something that they compare with. And so we had to have gone through pretty bad, recessions and value losses in order to consider gold to actually be a stable value. And over time, of course, like generation after generation, it becomes common knowledge. But gold itself ain't that stable, right? It's doing fairly good today or this week or whatever, but it's not like it's like a 1-1 match to purchasing power forever. It's very like volatile. It just happens to take months or quarters for it to move in significant amounts.
So now we're talking about, there was the global fiat, and then behind that there was the global kind of reserve purchasing power gold, and now you're saying maybe that's gonna fall apart.
It's already kind of breaking down one way here and there. I mean, it's all, after all, like the idea that you can store value is in itself like a fallacy, right? Because what is value, right? You have time in your life and you can use effort or do work, but you can't take that work, put it in a box, wait 5 years and take it out, because the work is fleeting. It's only there when you're actually doing it. And so you can't save productional capacity. You can only hope to keep some of that value by speculative means if others agree the same as you.
Yeah, this is a message that with my family, that it's always been hard to get across. Not just my family, but people that ask me about investment, and I tell them every choice you make is speculative. It doesn't matter what you do; it's speculative when it comes to, like you said, storing purchasing power, storing value for the future. Every choice you have to make is speculative, whether that's fiat or gold or whatever it is. Yeah, actually, that's actually something that's hard for people to grasp when
Yeah.
they've
It's
been
also not
based on a
just
lot of
speculative in the
assumptions.
sense that what we might change our opinion about what it's worth. It's also speculative whether or not your access to that value is going to be retained over time and to function the same way as you believe it will. Take, for example, this theoretical, say that gold had a fixed value to purchasing power, and you go back to like the early 1900s, and people put their money into gold and say it's like dead flat. It's like the perfection when it comes to storing that purchasing power. And then the executive order comes in, and you now have to hand your gold into the Federal Reserve or to the state, right? It doesn't matter if it's a perfect store of value, if it's no longer yours, right? And even if we talk about like crypto, like imagine you have a crypto that turns stable but then turns irrelevant. Well, if you can't spend it in the future, then what value does it actually have?
And here we are working every day on adoption to make sure that this thing we're working on actually gets into people's hands and is available and is possible to be used in commerce, right? That's something that BCH ecosystem has never ever lost sight of, is that commerce is the meaningful part of it. If you're not using it, then really it doesn't go anywhere, and it's not gonna be of any value in the future. Which, when you go to Slovenia and BCH Bliss, you can do a few things with your BCH. Tell us about that.
All right. Yeah, that's a fine segue over to the Bliss conference. Yeah, so in Slovenia, there's a large number of merchants that have signed up with the Go Crypto payment solution. And so you can spend your money there on almost anything. It's similar to other really big hotspots. So last year, for example, I did not spend any fiat at all. I didn't even take up my card, other than for purchasing some food delivery at one point. But my flight, the transfer to and from the hotel itself, the actual conferences, and some other things that we bought were there. It's all paid for in Bitcoin Cash.
Same in Townsville, right? There, and now in the Philippines, there's a growing number of places where you can go and just, as long as you pick and choose where you go, it's not like everywhere in the whole city, but if you pick and choose where you go, you can do pretty much all of your daily necessities in life, groceries, etc., using BCH. So of course it's not all over the world or everyone would know about it, but there are places where that is possible, and that's very
Yeah.
important, as we just discussed, right? Purchasing power is what matters. Commerce is what matters, not just some kind of imaginary
Yeah. So
store of
anyone
value that
who's
will work
coming to
forever.
Bliss, after the conference hours, I strongly suggest heading over to BTC City, because that's where the one of the two big concentration of merchants are. And it's like big shopping centers, many buildings, and you can just go around and find these Go Crypto payment stickers and go use them.
And by the way, BTC doesn't actually mean the crypto BTC. It has a different meaning. It just happens to be the same acronym. Yeah. Serious. Anybody who's listening probably doesn't believe me, but it's not. It's just an acronym. But yeah.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be awesome if we can get some photos of both the name BTC City and the payment method Bitcoin Cash, like in the same photo. Very confusing.
Well, there's going to be billboards. So there's going to be quite a number of electronic billboards all around BTC City that will be advertising BCH Bull, General Protocols, and BCH overall. So that will be a good thing to go. If you go to the conference, or even if you're not and you're just going through Slovenia nearby that time period, definitely go by and look for some of those billboards. Take some pictures and share it on social media. So tell us about the conference. What's the latest on the conference?
Right. Um. Well, for those who have already come to Bliss last year, the main differences have kind of already been covered. Like we're going for 3 day instead of a 2 day. We've been telling people about who our speakers are and what topics they will be talking about. Um, what's we haven't told people yet that maybe I can share at this point is that contrary to last year, there will now be a digital check-in system. So when you get there, you just scan a QR code, and the app will kind of tell us which tickets you have, and we provide you the corresponding merchandise associated with those tickets. This is one of the utility aspects of having the tickets as NFTs on the blockchain. You get to cryptographically prove ownership of your tickets, and we can act accordingly. Uh, Compared to last year, there's also going to be some rewards for bringing your old tickets. So if you have your old Jessicas, make sure you bring them with them in the same wallet so we can see them. Other than that, it's the same formula as last year, right? It's going to be mostly technical talks. It's going to be some social and inspiring talks, and it's going to be a lot of networking among talent and people who really know what they're doing. Yeah, I feel like I'm trying to get a sales pitch out here, but I don't really know how to sell it better than that. If you like the BCH ecosystem in particular, or technically inclined, then you get to meet like the most fascinating and skilled talent in the space. Just come to Bliss and check it out.
And not only the builders from the technical perspective, but also the builders from a business and commerce perspective, right? Because I think there's a growing group of people who truly recognize, right? Like you can't just have a thing
Yes.
and think that the users will come, right? You have to build useful services, useful.
Yeah, I'm sorry. When I say builders, the term is quite general, but I keep saying it in the technical sense of it because I myself am a programmer, so I'm kind of like these are the things that I look up to and see. But there is going to be people there from a lot of different projects, and some of them are definitely not in the like pure programming side, but are in the business development and the marketing and all the other things you need to build and get a successful product out there. And the talks won't be, hey, let's talk about all this cool assembler code and math over here. It's going to be technical to some degree, but it's also going to be something that is understandable and enjoyable, even if you're not a programmer.
Yeah, man. One of the great things about the ecosystem is just that focus on commerce, where whatever it is that's being built is there may be some speculative aspect to it because we're dealing with money. And like we said a minute ago, anytime you're dealing with assets and so forth, it's all speculative depending on, how you look at it. But it's not just speculative, right? It's all about business, services, products. It's like the old internet, the internet boom, where there was a lot of nonsense, there was a lot of speculative nonsense, but mixed into that, there was the future giants of the world that were being built at that time and emerged from all the speculative. Speculation is not necessarily bad, but from a lot of the nonsense that was going on emerged the giants of the future. So that's, I don't know. I expect that to be happening as well. I expect some of the people that we know and meet and see here are going to be the ones that turn into giants because they understand
It certainly,
where money is
yeah,
going.
it certainly can be that way. The people who are coming are of a caliber and level that they could end up building such large companies or such large and successful ventures. And some of them kind of already have, although it's not all like commercialized. Take for example, Kalen and Fulcrum. Like it's a highly popular in its own space indexer, and it's not only BCH. It works on BTC and it has a strong following over there too, and it powers so many different services, and it's highly scalable. So yeah, if if we take off on the adoption side, and like we 1000x the usage or 10,000x the usage, one of the like instantaneously most popular projects out there, Fulcrum, would absolutely be a massive success at that point. I'll jump in and say that tickets for Blitz are available on TapSwap, and you have about 3 weeks left before the end of the ticket sale. We stop selling the tickets at the end of the month so that we can properly arrange for the right number of people with the venue. So if you does not yet have a ticket, now is the time to go get one. If there's for some reason you're having issues with buying a ticket on TapSwap, you can always send a direct message to the Bliss account or any of the conference organizers, and we'll sort out some different payment method for you.
Okay, that's interesting to hear. I know that was one of the criticisms a few people had, where the conference is very focused on, dog fooding, using the things that we have and the technology we have to make things work, and actually using BCH in commerce. The tickets are NFTs on chain, and they're purchased on chain. They're not purchased through credit cards or whatever. So it sounds like you've come up with some way to facilitate people buying tickets, even if they're not going through tapswap.cash.
It's not so much that we come up with a way. It's more that if someone does contact us and try to buy a ticket this way, I'll figure it out on the spot. My current go-to is that we'll just tell them what ticket number they have, take that ticket off TapSwap, put it on an NFC card on a private key, and then hand over that private key on the NFC card when they show up.
Nice.
That way they get to keep the actual NFT whenever they are ready to import that data into their own systems.
There's something very fun about using NFC cards with, and we handed those out last year, right? We handed out lots of BCH Bull NFC cards where you can take them and, beep on the right wallet that has support for NFC and get, backup, or like you said, putting your NFTs on there. I love the, it's just a fun feeling to have that physical interaction.
Yeah. It's quite handy as well. I switched phones not too long ago, and I wanted to move over my BCH Bull account, and it's like, yeah, I just tap with my backup I have here and everything as well.
I've got a question.
So they're very practical.
Oh, sorry. Will it be live streamed like it was last year?
Yes, there will be a live stream like last year. We'll try to do a little bit better this year with providing sensible information. So, for example, when people go to lunch, we'll try to put up some image that says that we are at lunch and that we'll be back at some given time point. Last year, the live stream kind of just went on and on with like a static image when no one was there to tend to it. But we're trying to step that up and do a better live stream this year. You will be able to see it on the website. As soon as the conference starts, the live stream will be embedded into the bliss.cash page at the very top.
Awesome. Yeah, I remember last year I did watch the lunch pictures for a long time. Just waiting.
Yeah. And of course, like last year, after the event is over, we'll do some post-processing and split up all the talks and presentations and release them separately as well.
All right. So yeah, everybody should go to BCH Bliss if you can. It's going to be very nice. I went last year and it was amazing. The talking to all those people there was a fantastic experience. Being around people who really want to build, who really want to change the future and make a difference is a great feeling. And networking with them is a valuable thing to do. So please consider it. Check it out on tapswap.cash or talk to Jonathan or the BCH Bliss account on Twitter if you're interested in tickets. So I'd like to go ahead and wrap up So any parting words you guys would like to share about the ongoing meltdown, chaos, or conferences and so forth? You name anything you want to add?
Yeah, I would say this. Uh, I think the reason, I mean, maybe we should go out there and ask a bunch of 90-year-olds who have been through World War II and such, and maybe earlier, what do they think? But I think the reason most people aren't thinking so much about, what is actually safe and what is, you know, what they're told to be safe is because they simply haven't lived through it. Like the current meltdown, people just haven't really seen it since like the 70s or even, like since the 30s, depending on how you look at it. So now's the time to really think hard about it, and whatever conclusion you come to, um, there's a possibility that it may involve BCH, and it certainly does for me. And if it involves BCH, then it's a good time to come to a conference and see what it's all about. And that will be BCH Bliss in less than in about a month. Yeah. So go there.
Thank you. Yes, we got to start deciding and making hard choices. It's definitely that type of time is coming at us. So get ready, start thinking, and don't assume there's going to be any easy solutions at this point. All right, Jonathan, anything you wanted to wrap up with?
Yeah, I'll just say that, after the everything meltdown, usually comes the everything melt up. The same way like you have a global recession, usually come the good time afterwards, or you have a depression and something good comes out of it in the end. So, position yourself, start building, get creative and active, and do the things that you think will make the world a better place.
Do the things that you think will make the world a better place. That's right. GP?
You've got some good echo there. Yeah, I think I agree. Obviously, the sunrise comes after the sunset, so we're unless there's nuclear war and we all die, there'll still be a bright future ahead. Um, in the meantime, vote with your money. So if there are things that you don't like, don't support them. And if there are things that you do like, support them. It's very simple. So if you don't like what this company or this person is doing, well, then don't give them your money. And if you do like what they're doing, give them your money. It's really basic.
And not just money, but your time and attention as well, right? Make
Yeah,
sure
of course.
to, as Jonathan was saying, get creative, get productive, and focus on the things that you think are going to make a difference. Don't get bogged down with negativity and things that are just going to distract you. Jim, anything you wanted to add before we wrap up?
Not really. I like what you named said earlier about making friends with your neighbors and that kind of thing. But yeah, look, not really that much from my end. It's melting down kind of as we're speaking as well. The EU's just approved retaliatory tariffs, 10% to 25% on US goods. So yeah, it's going to be messy.
Oh wow, that just came out. Okay, great, fantastic. Yes, so build your local network. Make sure you have good relationships with people. Build your skills. Do things that matter. Stuff that applies in any era in any time period. Do all the things that you know you should do. All right. It's good to talk to you guys. Take care, and we will see you next time on General Bull number 46. Have a good one.
Yeah.